The rain hammered against the window like it was trying to break in, mirroring the storm raging inside me as I stared at the empty side of the bed where Jordan had just slipped away again. It was the fourth night in a row he'd crawled under the covers with me, his body trembling not from the cold, but from whatever ghosts chased him in the dark. I wanted to pull him back, to demand answers, but the fear in his eyes when he thought I was asleep held me frozen, until that morning, when I found the crumpled note under my pillow that read, "I'm sorry, Alex. You deserve better than my shadows." I met Jordan 6 months earlier, in the chaotic swirl of freshman orientation at NYU, where the air smelled like overpriced coffee and ambition. New York City was supposed to be our escape, a glittering promise for two kids from small towns who'd spent high school hiding who we really were. I was from a dusty suburb outside Chicago, where being gay meant whispers in locker rooms, and a dad who pretended my coming out never happened. Jordan hailed from a sleepy hollow in rural Georgia, his drawl softened by years of code switching to fit in. We bonded over bad pizza in the dorm lounge, laughing about our shared allergy to straight guy bravado and our secret crushes on the same indie band frontman. By week 2, we'd signed a lease on a cramped walk-up in the East Village, trading the fluorescent hell of dorms for freedom that came with leaky faucets and roach motels. At first, it was perfect. Mornings started with him blasting Phoebe Bridgers while scrambling eggs, his laughter filling the space like sunlight cutting through fog. We'd sprawl on the fire escape, sharing stories under the stars. Mine about the time I got caught kissing a boy behind the bleachers. His about the church youth group that made him feel like a sinner for dreaming of boys instead of brides. He never went into details about his family, just a vague, they wouldn't get it, but his eyes would cloud over, and I'd change the subject to drag shows in the village or the latest queer lit we'd both devoured. Friendship like ours felt like a lifeline, the kind that made you believe in chosen family. But then the nights started shifting. It began innocently enough, a thunderstorm that had him knocking on my door at 2 a.m., sheepish grin masking the panic. "Mind if I crash? Your bed's comfier than the couch." I scooted over without a second thought, our shoulders brushing in the dark, his breathing steadying as he whispered thanks. The next night, no storm, but he was there again, murmuring about a nightmare he couldn't shake. By the third, it was routine, his body curling toward mine like a magnet, seeking warmth I was all too willing to give. I told myself it was platonic, that he was just scared of the city swallowing him whole. But my heart raced every time his fingers grazed my arm, and I'd lie awake, wondering if he felt the spark too, or if I was just another safe harbor for his storms. That note changed everything. I found it after he'd bolted for class, his side of the room unnaturally tidy, like he'd erased himself. My hands shook as I unfolded it, the paper still warm from his grip. "You deserve better than my shadows." What the hell did that mean? Was it about us? About the unspoken tension that hung in the air like humidity before a downpour? Or something deeper, something he hadn't trusted me enough to share? I paced the apartment, the city noise below a dull roar, replaying every moment. The way he'd flinch at loud voices on the street, how he'd zone out during our movie nights, staring at the screen like it held answers. I'd chalked it up to culture shock, but now doubt gnawed at me. Was I blind, or was he just that good at hiding? By evening, he slunk in with takeout from the Thai place down the block, avoiding my eyes as he set the bags on the counter. "Pad CEW, your favorite," he said, voice too bright. I couldn't hold back. "Jordan, what's going on?" "The note, what shadows?" He froze, chopsticks midair, then deflated onto the stool like a puppet with cut strings. "It's nothing, Alex. Just bad dreams. Forget it." But his voice cracked, and when he finally looked up, those green eyes, usually so full of mischief, were fractured, like glass about to shatter. I reached for his hand, and he didn't pull away. "Talk to me. We're in this together, remember?" He exhaled, long and ragged, and the story spilled out in fragments. Growing up in Georgia, his dad was a fire and brimstone preacher, the kind who quoted Leviticus at dinner and prayed over Jordan's deviant thoughts after catching him with a dog-eared copy of Giovanni's Room. His mom turned a blind eye, baking pies while her husband raged. Jordan learned to bury it all, smiling through youth group, dating girls to keep the peace. But the pressure built, a volcano under his skin, until one night at 17, he snapped. screamed at his father during a sermon on hellfire, outing himself in a blaze of teenage fury. The aftermath was exile. Cut off, disowned, shipped to an aunt in Atlanta who whispered about fixing him with conversion pamphlets. He'd clawed his way to NYU on scholarships and grit, but the scars lingered, manifesting in panic attacks that clawed at his chest like beasts in the night. I listened, heart aching, pulling him into a hug when the words ran dry. "Why didn't you say anything?" I murmured into his hair. He clung to me, voice muffled. "Because you're so steady. I didn't want to drag you down." That night, he didn't crawl into my bed. He slept on the couch, and I tossed in the empty space, realizing how addicted I'd become to his presence. The next day, I dragged him to Washington Square Park, forcing falafel and people watching to lighten the mood. We spotted a drag queen busking, her sequins catching the autumn light, and Jordan laughed, really laughed, for the first time in days. "See? New York's got your back," I said, bumping his shoulder. He bumped back, eyes softening. "Yeah, and so do you. But shadows don't vanish with sunlight." A week later, at a queer open mic in the village, things unraveled. We'd gone to support our friend Mia, a trans poet whose words sliced like poetry knives. Jordan was electric, reciting a piece he'd written about fireflies in Georgia fields, metaphors for fleeting hopes. The crowd ate it up, but as we mingled afterward, a guy from the audience cornered him, all slick charm and loaded questions. "So, you're the preacher's kid? That's hot, rebel vibes." Jordan tensed, but played it cool until the guy leaned in, whispering something that made his face drain of color. I stepped between them, words sharp as shattered glass. "Back off, asshole." The guy smirked, sauntering away with a whatever prude. In the cab home, Jordan was silent, fists clenched. "What did he say?" I pressed. He stared out the window, rain streaking the glass. That I was damaged goods. That real queers don't run from their past. They own it. Like I'm faking it or something. Rage boiled in me, but underneath was fear. For him, for us. "He's full of shit. You're not damaged, you're surviving." He turned, eyes searching mine. Am I? Or am I just broken? The vulnerability hit like a punch. I cupped his face, thumb brushing his cheek. "You're Jordan. That's enough." Our foreheads touched, breaths mingling, and for a heartbeat, the world narrowed to that electric space. Then he pulled back, whispering, "Thanks, Alex." But the seed of doubt had been planted, and I could see it taking root. As November chills seeped into the city, our routine fractured further. Jordan threw himself into classes, coming home late with excuses about study groups. I'd wait up, the apartment echoing with my own doubts. Was the closeness we'd built just a crutch? Did he see me as more than a friend? Or was I projecting my crush like a spotlight? One night, I cracked, cornering him in the kitchen. "Are you avoiding me?" He sighed, rubbing his temples. "No, just processing. Therapy appointment tomorrow." The counselor's pushing me to confront the creature, as she calls it. My inner critic, the voice that says I'll never be enough. I nodded, masking my jealousy of this stranger who got his truths. "Good. You deserve that." But as he headed to bed, alone, I wondered if the creature was winning. Thanksgiving loomed, a holiday neither of us wanted. My family sent a terse email. "Doors open if you behave." Jordan's aunt texted Bible verses. We decided to stay put, hosting an anti-holiday potluck with Mia and a few others from the open mic. Laughter filled the air, turkey swapped for vegan curry, but midway through, Jordan's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, face paling, and excused himself. I followed, finding him in the bathroom, hyperventilating. "Dad," he gasped. He found out about NYU. Says he's coming to save me." The room spun. His father's shadow loomed larger than the city skyline, threatening to swallow us whole. We barricaded the door that night, but sleep evaded us both. Jordan paced like a caged animal, muttering about escape routes and alibis, while I brewed chamomile tea that tasted like regret. By dawn, his resolve hardened. "I can't let him ruin this," he said, packing a duffel with trembling hands. "I'm going to a friend's in Brooklyn for the week. You stay here, don't let him near you." Panic surged. "Wait, what? We're facing this together." But he shook his head, eyes fierce. "Not this time. It's my mess." He kissed my cheek, platonic, or so he thought, and was gone before the sun crested the buildings. The apartment felt like a tomb without him. I texted Mia for backup, and she arrived with coffee and conspiracy theories. Preacher man's probably bluffing, she said, but her voice wavered. We spent the day fortifying, changing locks, screening calls. When the knock came that evening, it wasn't thunderous rage, but a polite rap that chilled me deeper. Through the peephole, a man in a rumpled suit, Bible tucked under arm. Jordan's father, Reverend Harlan, looking every bit the small-town specter in big-city drag. Son, I know you're in there. We need to talk. My blood ran cold. How did he even know the address? I cracked the door, chain secure. He's not here, and he doesn't want to see you. Harlan's eyes, so like Jordan's but hardened by zeal, narrowed. You're the roommate. Alex, right? He's poisoning your mind with this lifestyle. Let me help him. Help. The word twisted like a knife. I laughed, bitter. Help? By disowning him? By making him hate himself? His face flushed, but he pressed on, voice oily with scripture. The Lord forgives. Jordan's confused, led astray by the devil's temptations. You're part of it, boy, living in sin under one roof. Temptations. Sin. The prejudices I'd fled Illinois to escape, now knocking at my door. I slammed it shut, heart pounding, and slid to the floor, tears hot on my cheeks. Mia found me there, pulling me into her lap like a child. Breathe, Alex. He's gone. But the encounter lingered, a poison seeping into my veins. That night, I dreamed of Jordan's eyes, not green but black voids, the creature Harlan had planted staring back. Waking in sweat-soaked sheets, I grabbed my phone. No messages. Desperation clawed. I hailed a cab to Brooklyn, the city lights blurring into streaks of accusation. His friend's place was a brownstone buzz, and when Jordan answered, disheveled in sweats, surprise flickered to guilt. Alex? What are you? I pushed inside, words tumbling. Your dad showed up. Called us sinners. I couldn't just sit there. His face crumpled, and he led me to the couch, where we sat in silence heavy as lead. Finally, he spoke. I should have warned you. He tracked my financial aid records, pulled strings with the church network. The vulnerability returned, laced with shame. I thought staying away would protect you. Protect me? From what? His pain or my feelings? I took his hand, lacing our fingers. We're not hiding anymore. Not from him, not from this. Our eyes locked, and the air thickened, charged with the unspoken. He leaned in, hesitant, lips brushing mine in a question. I answered, soft and sure, the kiss tasting of salt and second chances. It was tentative at first, a bridge over the chasm of fear. But as we pulled apart, foreheads touching, reality crashed back. What does this mean? He whispered. I smiled shaky. It means we're idiots for waiting this long. Laughter bubbled up, breaking the tension, and we spent the night talking, not about shadows, but stars. His dreams of writing a queer memoir, my hopes for a life beyond hiding. By morning, the Brooklyn loft felt like sanctuary, sunlight filtering through blinds to gild his skin. We returned to the East Village hand in hand, a quiet declaration. Harlan didn't reappear, but his echo rippled outward. Whispers started at school. Someone had tipped off the campus paper about the preacher's gay son drama. Jordan withdrew again, skipping the queer alliance meeting we'd planned to co-lead. I found him on the fire escape, staring at the street below. They're saying I'm a token, Alex, the tragic gay kid for pity points. Prejudice, not from family this time, but from our own community, twisting survival into spectacle. I sat beside him, shoulder to shoulder. Screw them. You're not a story, you're Jordan. But doubt lingered in his eyes, the creature stirring. Winter descended, blanketing the city in gray, mirroring the frost between us. Our kisses grew rarer, stolen in doorways, as if afraid to claim them fully. Friendship anchored us, but love demanded more. Confrontation, vulnerability. One blizzard night, power out, we huddled under blankets with candles flickering like confessions. I love you, I said, the words slipping free. He stilled, then smiled, sad. I love you too. But what if I'm not ready? What if the creature wins? The creature, his trauma, the voices saying he was unworthy. I held him tighter. Then we fight it together. But fights aren't linear. A misunderstanding erupted at Mia's holiday party, eggnog flowing and tensions high. Jordan, tipsy, laughed too loud at a joke about conversion therapy, and a guest, a sharp-tongued activist, accused him of trivializing pain. Easy for you to joke when you're white and pretty, she snapped. Jordan recoiled, color draining. You think this is easy? The room hushed as he unloaded. Georgia nights locked in his room, praying to be straight, the ants, therapies, that left bruises on his soul. I stepped in, diffusing, but the damage stuck. Later, in the cab, he turned on me. Why didn't you back me up? Or are you ashamed too? Hurt sliced deep. Ashamed? I'm fighting for us every day. He stormed out at our stop, slamming the door. Days passed in icy silence. Texts unanswered, meals separate. I threw myself into finals, but focus eluded, my mind replaying the party like a bad loop. Was our love built on sand, crumbling under scrutiny? Mia mediated, dragging us to coffee. Talk, you fools, she commanded. Jordan arrived haggard, apology in his eyes. I projected, took it out on you because you're safe. Forgiveness came easy, but trust? That needed rebuilding. We started small, weekly no shadows dates, where we shared one fear, one joy. His joy, a poem accepted by the lit mag. My fear, losing him to the past. Spring thawed the city, and us, tentatively. Blossoms burst in Union Square as we walked, hands brushing. One evening, under cherry trees, he stopped, pulling a small box from his pocket. Not a ring, but a keychain shaped like a firefly. For the shadows, he said. Light in the dark. Tears pricked. This was growth, his way of saying he was trying. That night, he crawled into my bed, not from fear, but choice. No words, just bodies aligning, breaths sinking in quiet promise. Yet surprises lurked. A letter arrived, postmarked Georgia, addressed to both of us. Harlan penitent? No, his mother, Jordan's grandmother, frail script begging reconciliation. I've prayed. Come home, child. Bring your friend. Jordan's hands shook reading it aloud. She was the only soft thing there. Conflict brewed. Return and risk, or stay and wonder. I supported whatever, but inside, terror gnawed. What if the old world reclaimed him? The decision hung over us like summer humidity, thick and unrelenting. Jordan agonized for weeks, pros and cons scrawled on napkins during late-night diner runs. What if she really changed? He'd muse, stirring sugar into coffee that went cold. I'd nod, masking my dread of losing him to that viper's nest. Mia weighed in over video call, her eyeliner sharp as her advice. Go, but armor up. And take backup. Me and Alex, queer invasion force. Laughter eased the knot, but when Jordan booked the tickets for a weekend in May, my stomach twisted. Georgia, the heart of the Bible Belt, where rainbows were sins, not pride flags. The flight south was turbulent, mirroring my mood. Jordan gripped the armrest, knuckles white, whispering mantras about boundaries. Atlanta greeted us with muggy heat and a rental car that smelled like new beginnings or endings. His aunt's house, a squat rancher on the outskirts, loomed like a bad memory. But it was Grand's place, a Victorian relic in a fading neighborhood, porch swing creaking in welcome. She met us at the door, frail as tissue paper, silver hair pinned back. Eyes, Jordan's eyes, soft with unshed tears. My boy, she breathed, enveloping him in a hug that swallowed his frame. Then she turned to me, appraising. And you must be the one keeping him smiling. No judgment, just warmth. It disarmed me. The visit unfolded in fragile peace. Grand-baked cornbread, stories flowing like sweet tea, tales of Jordan as a tyke, chasing lightning bugs. His father's rages softened in memory. Harlan's pride blinded him. She admitted over chess one evening, pieces clicking like confessions. But love? That heals. Jordan bloomed under her gaze, laughter genuine, the creature dormant. I watched, heart swelling, as he helped in the garden, dirt under nails, sharing snippets of New York life. No sermons, no slurs, just family, flawed but reaching. On the last night, Gran pressed envelopes into our hands, savings bonds. For your future, she said, winking. Build something beautiful. The return flight lifted weights I hadn't named. Jordan slept against my shoulder, peaceful, and I traced the line of his jaw, gratitude fierce. Back in the city, we dove into summer, pride parades, rooftop barbecues, nights tangled in sheets that spoke of more than comfort. Love solidified, no longer tentative. We were partners, navigating the world hand in hand. He even started a blog, anonymous posts about reclaiming faith from fear, readers commenting in droves. "You're brave," I told him one dawn, lips against his temple. He grinned. "Only because of you." But harmony breeds complacency, and surprises strike when least expected. August brought heat waves and a curveball, an email from the Lit Mag editor. Jordan's poem, Firefly Confessions, shortlisted for a national award, ceremony in Chicago, my turf. Elation warred with anxiety, facing my family loomed. "Bring me," he said. "Show them we're real." I agreed, steeling for battle. Chicago welcomed us with lake breezes and ghosts. My parents' house, a McMansion in the suburbs, hadn't changed. Dad's recliner, Mom's forced smiles. Dinner was a minefield, small talk skittering around the elephant. Jordan charmed, talking literature with Mom, grilling tips with Dad. But when I mentioned the award, Dad's fork paused. "Proud of you, son. But this roommate thing, living together, it's..." He trailed off, eyes on his plate. Jordan's hand found mine under the table, squeezed steady. "It's love, sir," he said softly. Silence crashed like waves. Mom broke it, voice quavering. "We just worry. The world's not kind." Not kind. Understatement of the century. Dad cleared his throat. "We've been reading PFLAG meetings. Trying." Shock rippled through me. Trying? After years of radio silence? Jordan's eyes met mine, a mix of hope and wariness. The creature in him stirred, whispering doubts, but he spoke truth. "Thank you. That means everything." Hugs followed, awkward but earnest, and as we left, Mom slipped me a photo, me at 5, grinning toothless. "You're our boy. Always." The ceremony was a blur of spotlights and applause. Jordan's name called. He ascended, voice steady reading lines about light and darkness. I clapped till my hands stung, tears blurring the crowd. Afterward, champagne toasts, but a familiar face cut through. Tyler, my high school almost love, now a journalist with a byline. "Alex?" And "Boyfriend." His smile was all teeth, eyes lingering on Jordan. Jealousy flickered, unbidden, unfair. We chatted, surface level, but Tyler's card burned in my pocket, an invitation to catch up. Back in New York, the high faded into friction. Jordan noticed my distraction, the way I'd check my phone. "Old flame," he teased one night, but hurt edged his tone. I laughed it off, but guilt festered. Prejudices weren't just external. They hid in insecurities, mine whispering that I wasn't enough, that Tyler represented the normal, gay life I'd craved as a teen. A stupid lunch with Tyler. Coffee, nostalgia, spiraled when he leaned in. "You two seem solid, but if it crashes..." Rage, then clarity. I left, texting Jordan the truth. He waited on the fire escape, expression stormy. Why see him? Hurt poured out, my fear of being the settler, the safe choice over excitement. He listened, then pulled me close. "I'm not safe. I'm yours." But trust goes both ways. The fight dissolved into apologies, bodies reconciling in the heat of honesty. We emerged stronger, but the crack lingered, a reminder that love demands vigilance. Fall semester hit like a freight train, classes piling on, but we carved space. Weekend getaways to the Hamptons, borrowed from Mia's cousin. Beaches stretched endless, waves erasing footprints. One sunset, Jordan dropped to one knee, not proposal, but a vow. "I choose you every day," shadows and all. Tears mixed with salt spray as I kissed him, the ocean roaring approval. Yet climax brewed in quiet corners. Jordan's blog gained traction, catching his father's eye. An email arrived. "Harlan, not repentant, but demanding. Take down the lies, or face consequences." Threats veiled in scripture, exposing Jordan's youthful mistakes to the university, painting him as unstable. Panic resurfaced, the creature roaring back. "He'll ruin everything," Jordan whispered, huddled on the floor. I held him, mind racing. "Fight or flee?" "We go public," I said. "Own the story." He looked up, fear warring with fire. "Together? Always." Public meant exposure, raw and relentless. Jordan's blog post went viral overnight, from pews to pride, reclaiming my voice. His words a manifesto against inherited hate. Shares skyrocketed, comments a torrent. Support from queer youth, vitriol from trolls. The university caught wind, offering counseling resources and a statement of solidarity. But Harlan struck back, a medium essay decrying his wayward son as a cautionary tale, laced with half-truths about Jordan's troubled youth. Lies twisted into gospel, shared in church groups, seeping into Jordan's inbox like venom. The backlash hit hard. Protests erupted, not against us, but for us. Queer Alliance rallies chanting Jordan's name. Yet privately, he unraveled. Sleepless nights returned, his body seeking mine not in passion but refuge. What if they're right? He'd murmur at 3 a.m., voice small. What if I am broken? I'd trace constellations on his back, whispering affirmations until dawn. My own doubts crept in. Had I pushed him into the spotlight, igniting this fire? Friendship with Mia strained. She urged therapy escalation, but Jordan resisted, fearing vulnerability as weakness. A surprise ally emerged, Gran, emailing from Georgia. Your father's wrong, child. I've left the church, started a support group for families like ours. Videos followed, her frail voice testifying to love over doctrine. It anchored him, a lighthouse in the storm. We leaned into community, Mia organizing a reading event, where Jordan shared on stage, voice cracking but unbroken. Applause thundered, and in the green room after, he collapsed against me, sobbing. I did it. Pride swelled, fierce. You always could. But conflicts escalated. Campus security alerted us to a stalker, Harlan's congregant, tailing Jordan to classes, leaving pamphlets on deliverance. Fear coiled tight. We reported it, but paranoia shadowed every step. One night, returning from a lecture, shadows shifted, a figure lunging from the alley. Adrenaline surged. I shoved Jordan behind me, yelling for help. The man fled at a passerby's shout, but bruises bloomed on my arm, a stark reminder. Jordan's guilt consumed him. This is my fault. You're hurt because of me. I cupped his face. No, it's his hate, not yours. But the creature feasted on that guilt, widening the rift. Misunderstandings multiplied. I snapped during a heated call with my parents, Dad questioning if Jordan was stable after the blog drama. He's not a project. I yelled, slamming the phone. Jordan overheard, retreating into silence. Days later, he confronted me. Am I? Your redemption story. Pain lanced. Never. You're my everything. But words fell short. Action spoke. I quit my part-time job to accompany him to therapy, sitting in waiting rooms with dog-eared magazines, emerging to his grateful hugs. High drama peaked at the winter formal, a queer gala at the student union, black tie with a side of rebellion. Jordan, resplendent in a velvet blazer, danced like defiance. Midway, Tyler appeared, uninvited, champagne flute in hand. Missed you at coffee, he purred, eyes on Jordan. Jealousy flared, old wounds reopening. I pulled Jordan aside, but he misread my tension. What's with you? Still hung up. The accusation stung. No, it's him stirring shit. But doubt seeded, and when Tyler cornered Jordan later, whispering about better options, the bomb detonated. Jordan stormed out, me chasing into the snow-whipped night. He said you're using me, for the drama, the hero complex. Lies, but they landed on fertile ground. We argued under street lamps, voices raw. Do you think that? I demanded. He hesitated, and it shattered me. Sometimes, when the creature talks, tears froze on cheeks. Fight it, Jordan. For us. He reached, tentative. I am. But I need you to fight your ghosts too. Truce in the cold, hands clasped. We walked home, the city a silent witness. Healing demanded depth. Spring brought therapy breakthroughs. Jordan naming the creature, Harlan's echo, journaling its lies into oblivion. We traveled to Fire Island, a queer haven of dunes and dances, where sunsets stripped pretenses. There, under stars, he proposed, not rings, but futures. Marry me? Someday, when we're ready. Joy burst, yes on lips, bodies celebrating in whispers and waves. Yet prejudices persisted, insidious. A professor, well-meaning but clueless, pulled me aside post-seminar. Jordan's talented, but his personal life. It distracts. Consider distance. Outrage boiled. I reported it, sparking a department review. Jordan, learning, withdrew. See? Even here, I'm the problem. No, The system was. We rallied, petitions circulating, allies amplifying. The prof apologized, but the scar itched. Summer simmered with promise. Internships in Manhattan, me at a publishing house, him at an LGBTQ plus nonprofit. Evenings blurred into adventures. Coney Island hot dogs, met rooftop kisses. One humid night, a call from Gran. Harlan, hospitalized, heart attack. He asks for you, she said. Jordan paled. After everything? Conflict clawed, forgiveness or finality. He went alone, me waiting with bated breath. Hours later, he returned, drained but whole. He apologized. Not fully, but enough. Details trickled. Bedside confessions, regrets for the boy he'd broken. No instant mending, but a door cracked. I forgave for me, Jordan said. To silence the echo. Admiration swelled. This was his triumph. Our love deepened, roots intertwining. But surprises lingered. A pregnancy scare, not ours, but Mia's, from a one-night blur. She confided, terrified of transphobia in healthcare. We became her rock, late nights planning, holding space. It bonded us, revealing Jordan's nurturing core. Family isn't blood, he said, echoing Gran. Fall winds carried change. Senior year, theses looming, but we thrived. A misunderstanding arose over a trip, me wanting to visit Chicago for Dad's birthday, Jordan fearing family triggers. Go, he urged. I'll be fine. But isolation bred doubt. He partied too hard one night, waking with regrets. Felt like Georgia again, numbing out. Honesty mended, boundaries redrawn. Climax crested in December, snow blanketing the village. Harlan's echo resurged via a letter, reconciliation offer, church amends. Jordan wrestled, creature versus courage. What if it's a trap? I held him. Trust your gut. He chose no, mailing back grace without gates. Liberation washed over him, eyes clear. New Year dawned crisp, resolutions whispered over midnight champagne. Ours, deeper trust, no more hiding. Jordan's blog evolved into a podcast, Shadows to Light. Episodes raw with guest stories, his voice a beacon. Listeners poured in, including a producer from NPR, sniffing a series deal. Elation tempered by nerves, exposure amplified risks. What if they dig into my past, he fretted. I squeezed his hand. Let them. You've got nothing to hide. The deal signed. Recording sessions buzzed with energy. Mia guested first, her trans journey a tapestry of triumphs and thorns. Airing to acclaim, but backlash followed. Online harpies dredging Harlan's essays, labeling Jordan trauma porn. Hate mail flooded, one envelope containing a slashed pride flag. Security doubled, but fear fractured sleep. One night, Jordan bolted upright, gasping. He was there, Dad, in the studio, microphone like a cross. Nightmare bleed, but it unearthed buried pain. Therapy intensified, EMDR sessions peeling layers. I supported, but my own shadows stirred. Publishing internships soured, boss microaggressing, diversity hire jabs. Doubt crept. Was I token too? Jordan noticed, coaxing confessions over park benches. You're brilliant, Alex. Don't let them dim you. Reciprocity strengthened us. Vulnerabilities shared like secrets. Friendship tested limits. Mia's ultrasound confirmed the baby, joyous, but her partner's abandonment hit hard. I'm scared, she admitted, ultrasound photo trembling. We stepped up, baby-proofing our apartment temporarily, midnight runs for cravings. Jordan's gentleness shone, rocking her during sobs. This kid's got aunties and uncles for days, he'd croon. It humanized him, the boy from Georgia now building nests. Spring burst with blooms and bombshells. NPR series greenlit, filming in Georgia, Jordan's old stomping grounds. Confront the roots, the producer urged. Terror gripped. What if it reopens wounds? But opportunity beckoned, reclaiming narrative. We flew south, camera crew in tow, Mia's moral support on payroll. Atlanta felt alien, humid with memory. First stop, Aunt's house, now sold, weeds choking the yard. Jordan narrated, voice steady. Here, I learned silence was survival. Gran hosted next, her group a circle of gray-haired allies, sharing testimonies. On camera, she hugged him. Proud, my firefly. Tears flowed, authentic. But climax loomed. Harlan's church, a steepled sentinel. Jordan insisted solo, but I tailed discreetly. Inside, congregants eyed warily. Harlan, Freilier post-heart attack, preached mild sermons. Post-service, confrontation, Jordan microphone hot, questions probing. Why the hate, Dad? Harlan faltered, congregation murmuring. Fear, he admitted. Lost you to my pride. No full absolution, but seeds sown, apologies murmured, hands shaken. Outside, Jordan exhaled. It's done. Catharsis crashed, him collapsing in my arms, sobs cathartic. The episode aired to Emmy's buzz, but personal fallout brewed. Tyler resurfaced, interviewing for a queer mag, angling for dirt. Off-record, Jordan's holding you back. Venomous. I shut it down, but seeds of discord sprouted. Jordan, sensing distance, accused paranoia. You're pulling away. Misunderstanding snowballed. Me defensive, him retreating. A blowout ensued, words weaponized. Maybe you are damaged. I yelled, instant regret. Silence deafened. He packed a bag, crashing at Mia's. Days blurred in agony, texts unanswered. Rock bottom. Alone in the apartment, I journaled, fears of inadequacy, patterns from Dad's detachment. Mia mediated, dragging us to neutral ground, a diner at dawn. Jordan arrived hollow-eyed. I overreacted. But your words. They echoed him. Guilt crushed. I'm sorry. We're both scared. Reconciliation slow. Coffee turning to confessions, hands linking across Formica. Fight fair, we vowed. Therapy couple sessions followed, unpacking baggage. Summer healed. Fire Island redux. This time with Mia, her bump glowing. Bonfires crackled stories. Jordan's Georgia ghosts, my Chicago chill, her trans triumphs. Bonds fortified, family forged. Back north, podcast wrapped triumphantly, Jordan fielding book offers. Co-write it, he asked me. Partnership extended, ink and heart. But prejudice lurked macro. National news twisted the series, Fox pundits decrying indoctrination. Threats escalated, voicemails venomous. A brick through our window etched with slurs. Police involved, but helplessness gnawed. Jordan hardened. Can't let them win. We rallied. Counter-interviews, ally letters. Grand visited. Her presence bomb. Babysitting Mia's impending arrival while we strategized. Labor hit early. August heatwave. Mia in panic. Hospital dash. Us pacing linoleum. Hours later, cries pierced. Baby Ellis, tiny and fierce. Holding her, Jordan teared up. World's waiting, kiddo. Godparent duties sealed. Our circle unbreakable. Fall semester senior thesis crunch, but love buffered. A surprise. My parents, unannounced in NYC. Support, Mom said, hugging tight. Dinner awkward but earnest. Dad to Jordan. Heard your podcast. Brave. Bridge built, tentative. Climax simmered in November. Harlan's final play. Lawsuit threat over defamation. Lawyers circled, stress stratospheric. Jordan spiraled, creature rampant. Everything crumbles. I anchored. We've beaten worse. Mediation loomed, Georgia-bound again. There, in a sterile office, Harlan capitulated, settlement dropped, apology signed. Let him go, Gran urged her son. Victory bittersweet. Jordan grieved the father unlived. Return transformed. Thesis defenses aced, graduation's golden. Post-ceremony, under confetti rain, Jordan knelt. Ring this time, simple band. Marry me, Alex. Shadows conquered. Yes exploded, cheers enveloping. Wedding whispers wove through summer haze, plans sketched on cafe napkins. Small, queer-centric, rooftop vows. But life intervened. Mia postpartum blues, us tag-teaming Ellis duties. Jordan's book deal solidified, manuscript marathons in the park. My job offer from a Brooklyn press gleamed, future tangible. Yet undercurrents tugged. Jordan's nightmares resurfacing, post-lawsuit PTSD. What if peace is illusion, he'd murmur. I'd pull him close. Then we build real. A misunderstanding flared over invites, me suggesting my parents, him flinching at exposure. Not ready for their eyes on us. Hurt stung. Was I erasing his pain? Debate escalated, voices rising in the kitchen. You're ashamed, he accused. No, integrating. Truth, my fear of half-families. Mia refereed, wisdom pregnant with experience. Boundaries, not walls. Compromise, neutral meat, no vows yet. Fall leaves turned, book tour beckoning. Jordan's launch in Atlanta, full circle. I accompanied, grand front row, Harlan absent but echoes quiet. Readings packed, fans sharing parallels. You gave me words for my silence. Post-event high, but hotel night, vulnerability cracked. Proud, he asked small. Beyond, I breathed, love reaffirming. Back home, climax crested unexpected. A letter from Jordan's mom, long silent. Saw the book. I'm sorry for everything. No return address, but closure's ghost. He burned it ritually, ashes to wind. Free. Winter wedding dawned snowy, rooftop cleared, heaters humming. Guests intimate. Mia with Ellis gurgling, grand beaming, my folks tentative but present. Vows exchanged under string lights. Jordan's, poetic. You saw the creature, loved the man. Mine, simple. Every night, every dawn. Rings slid, kisses sealed, cheers erupted. Dance floor swirled, Harlan's shadow banished. Honeymoon in Provincetown, dunes whispering secrets. Days lazed, nights explored, souls, not skins. What's next? He mused, waves lapping. Us, I said. Always. Years blurred. Book bestseller, my editing career blooming. Podcast evolved, global reach. Mia's family grew, us doting uncles. Prejudices persisted, legislative storms, but we advocated, voices amplified. One anniversary, fire escape perch, Jordan reflected. From crawling in fear to standing in light. I smiled. And the creature? He laughed. Just a story now. Ours. Surprises sprinkled joy. Adoption papers for Ellis's sibling, Grand's visits turning annual. Conflicts arose, career pulls, therapy lapses, but resolutions honed us sharper. A health scare, Jordan's anxiety mimicking heart issues, reminded fragility, tightening grips. Decade marker, Georgia reunion, Harlan frail in hospice. Jordan visited solo, emerging peaceful. Forgave fully. For peace. His passing later, quiet, Jordan mourned, then released. Legacy bloomed. Foundation for queer youth, scholarships in Firefly names. Our home, once cramped, now haven, walls echoing laughter, not echoes. Nights, he still curls close. Not need, but choice. Love you, he whispers. Love you more, I reply. In the quiet, no creatures lurk, only us, whole. Epilogue whispers. Ellis, toddling, asks of the monster in Uncle Jordan's eyes. He kneels, gentle. It was a shadow, sweetie, but light one. She nods, trusting, as do I, every dawn.